Back at the opening weekend of field hockey with head coach Justine Sowery. I'm Sean Moth. Great to have you along as always. Coach, we open things up Friday night, always got the jitters, the opening lights and all that. And just give me an assessment of what you saw, because I know you took a 3-2 loss, but that doesn't always tell the story. Were you happy with how things started, or were there some things you needed to fix?
Well, if you take the start, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Northeastern, a very good opponent, well coached and very experienced. And they have great structure, and the size difference, the physical difference was significant.
Sure.
And they definitely jumped us pretty early. But what I was very proud of the team for that game was against the run of the play, we were able to get 2 goals on the board in the first half, and the second half we actually started to improve and get a little bit of rhythm. You know, at the end of the day, probably the better team won.
Sure.
But we took great lessons from it and applied it in the next game.
I know what we previewed over the course of our last show, the Cheryl Breakmeyer Classic, was the weekend tournament, and she was honored on Friday, and we didn't want to talk too much about it because it was still a surprise. But now that the locker room was dedicated to her, I think she had over 40 family members. Around her 90th birthday, I think was Saturday. I wasn't able to be with you because of volleyball, but it sounded like it was just a tremendous event, obviously taking the difficulty of the loss away, and a really successful opening in that respect.
Absolutely, and it was a work in progress, and trying to keep it secret from Mrs. B was quite the task. She was definitely asking a lot of questions to the staff here at U of L and also her family, but we were able to pull it off. And I definitely want to give a shout out to Patty Norton, who was tremendous in making the day a great one. But Mrs. B, she couldn't get the smile off her face, and it was just a massive night, and it would have been better with a win. But we feel just great honour for her, and she's quite a woman, and we love her to bits.
No question, and of course we look at the footage here of the pushback, the opening hit with her stick, and she hit it square too.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. If she has eligibility, we'll take her.
So certainly a great part of the weekend. No rest for the weary. Turn around, and on Sunday another match, this time against Miami of Ohio, former MAC opponent, as the Cards used to be a member of that conference. And I imagine you had to be pretty pleased with the improvement your team showed into that next match, because you guys picked up a 3-1 win.
Absolutely. Finally in this game we were actually able to get some passing patterns going. I thought our midfield had a great day, and we were able to generate a lot of passing patterns, a lot of transferring through the midfield and the backfield, and with that being said, had a lot of attacking opportunities. So we really took those lessons from the first game and applied it in the second, and we look to continue moving forward.
Throw some names out this weekend that you were pleased with their performance.
Well, overall for the weekend, I think Erin Conrad had an outstanding game. She definitely was under a lot of pressure in the first game, not as much in the second, but still was able to keep a very solid defensive structure. I think Paige Munson had a great game and a great weekend in the midfield, and in that second game, our midfield of Elisa Garcia and Alyssa Vomley, they stepped it up in the second game as well. And when they play well, I think in general our team plays well, because we need that engine room functioning very well.
It's said in college football that the team will improve most from the first game to the second game, and it seems to me that would apply to a lot of sports. As you go from the first weekend to the second weekend, is this week one of the more crucial weeks in terms of that improvement because of the ability to see them having played a game? And is that something you expect to see, that improvement in the same way that they do with football through that first week?
Yeah, absolutely, without question. And we have an extra day this week because of the game's been pushed back an extra day. So we're really looking forward to doing a lot of small games where they're getting more touches on the ball and trying to work in combinations in small spaces, because that was lacking a little bit. But certainly another week we're definitely going to benefit from it, and hopefully playing at home again we'll be able to show a great amount of improvement.
one of the benefits of playing at a venue that's hosted multiple national championships is there's a demand for home tournaments, and so the Cards will be hosting again this weekend. Saturday, the Cards will face Davidson, and then on Monday, it will be. You're going to help me out. Ball State. I knew it was a MAC opponent, and I had Miami stuck in my head, but it really is a benefit. We talk about how great the facility is, and maybe we beat that into the ground, but this is one of those benefits, is because people want to come here. They want to play here, and that, I know that makes it a little easier for you to be able to stay at home a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the teams that came here this past weekend, they're all loving the facility, and there were some schools that had administrators here that were taking photographs and looking to try and make their facilities a little better.
Sure.
And same can be said this weekend. We have Davidson, and in fact the Davidson coach asked me a little bit about the facility because she hadn't been here since she was in college, and
wow.
So she's going to be in for a bit of a shock.
Yes.
But, Davidson is a really tough opponent, and we had a great game with them last year at their place. Yeah. They're tough. They're very, very tough. So we really have to make sure that we're ready to play, continue to play our game, and play out and control the tempo. But so we're looking to have an opportunity to play them at our home.
Excellent. Hope we come out and support. A great venue, should be beautiful weather, and it's a good thing Coach is here to bail me out when I can't remember stuff. Thanks. Good luck to you and the team.
Thank you very much.
For Justine Sowery, I'm Sean Moth. We'll talk next week right here on CardsTV.